Hi, thanks for joining today. We're excited to be talking about Tennessee tax deed investing, and we're going to specifically show you how to find and research tax deeds, how to buy them, and we're going to use some different tools and different websites, but Parcel Fair is the tool that we're going to use to pull it all together and show you how to save a ton of time in the process. So let's just get started and dive right in. So first off, how do investors buy tax deeds in Tennessee? Predominantly, they buy them through tax deed auctions, and these are redeemable tax deeds with a 1-year redemption period and a 12% flat redemption penalty, which means if someone redeems a tax deed that you bought the first month or the 11th month, anywhere in that redemption period, you still get a 12% penalty paid to the investor. It's not prorated like a lot of the tax lien states may do that. So there's different distinction there worth noting. Also, besides that initial tax auction, it can be a little confusing because there are rebid, also known as like an upset auction, and surplus auctions. So it's kind of all over the place the way these auctions may show up. And I'll probably say this several times, but make sure you understand the rules of the auction for the county and even the particular auction you're in, because there can be big differences. So not only in the auctions, but like there's the first run auctions where you have that first crack at a tax deed, and there's also those leftover ones that don't sell at that initial auction. So a few of the counties will sell those directly to you, just over the counter. In some states, this is a very popular way to buy. In Tennessee, it's not the normal way they do it. Typically, a county will either hold their leftovers for the next auction or the next year, or they might even hold a separate surplus auction for the ones that didn't sell. But it's important to know that over-the-counter deeds are not very common here. Just as a side note, we always talk about land banks on this channel, so we'll give it a mention here. We've already made a video on this. So if you want to know about the Shelby County Land Bank, it's the only active land bank in Tennessee right now. And depending on when you're watching this video, they tend to, how do we say it? They go offline every once in a while to catch up on applications. So they might be active when you're watching this, or they might be inactive. Best of luck. Hopefully it's a good way to buy if you can catch them while they're open. So another thing we talk about on this channel a lot are the tax auction seasons. So we've done series about off seasons and how to buy during an off season. Well, Tennessee doesn't really have an auction season, so there's no way to really tell you this is the season. Some states like Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, they have very defined auction seasons where you can say, I know that the Alabama auctions are April through June, or Florida tax liens are May and June, and but this is not the case in Tennessee. They literally just kind of hold the auctions as they are needed. They range all over the calendar, January to December. Some counties have enough properties to host multiple auctions per year. Shelby County, Memphis, and Knox County, Knoxville, that we've seen them do that, to have multiple auctions per year. And then some counties can go years without an auction. We've been in touch with Williamson County, who've been 10 years without an auction, and Putnam County, it's been at least 2 years since their auction. So it's all over the place. Not only is it not seasonal, it's not even guaranteed to be every year. So where are these auctions? A lot of them are online. Not all of them, but some. So some of the counties hold their auctions on Civic Source, like Shelby County. The Memphis auction will be there this spring. It's worth noting on these that the lists are actually available with the county too. You don't have to wait. Like if you go to Civic Source now, there is no list, but the Shelby County website does have the list. The rest of the online auctions that we found were GovEase if they're not in Civic Source. There's a chunk of counties here that are active this spring with auctions going on there. Most of these are kind of smaller auctions. I guess the biggest one is around a couple hundred properties, whereas like the Shelby auction on Civic Source, by contrast, is over 1,000 properties. There are actually a lot of in-person tax deed auctions with like Bradley County in Cleveland, Tennessee has one coming up. Knox County they've done a mixture. I think we've seen some sealed bid and some in-person auctions there. So you can see a theme in Tennessee is that they do whatever they feel like, pretty much. It's not that the counties don't follow much of a pattern. The season is all over the place, and the auctions are kind of whatever the county feels like, whenever they feel like it. So now that we've gone through all that, let's go ahead and cut over to a live demo where we're going to take a look at some of these auctions. And like I mentioned earlier, we're looking at these through a tool called Parcel Fair that pulls it all together for us. This is parcelfair.com. Let's go to the Tennessee homepage and just take a look. This is a very new state for us. We don't have a lot on the page yet, but this is actually only the second video we've had on it. But we do have a Tennessee auction calendar that will let you see for the upcoming months the different auctions laid out here. So we'll start. January is completed now, so these are here for reference. But you'll see that Knox had a winter auction on January 5th, and then just 20 days later a rebid auction. That's what we talked about, an upset auction earlier. So that's already 2 for that county this year. And then we can just take a look at upcoming auctions in February and March, and you can see that there's several things going on. But let's just jump into one of these auctions and take a look at what we can see in Parcel Fair. Bradley County we talked about already. It's the Cleveland, Tennessee area, and let's just go for it and see. There's 198 properties. We just ran the search on here to see what there is. Then let me show you a couple features that'll save you some time here. We're in satellite mode right now on this map. We could cut over to a map view, and maybe it's easier for you to see with less detail and more contrast these different properties. And these yellow outlines on the map, those are the actual tax deed properties that will be in the tax auction. And while we're at it, so we don't want to look at all 198. So let's say all I care about are buildings and improvements. And we'll maybe say my minimum value is $20,000. I don't want to see anything under that. And we'll leave these other filters alone for now just to demonstrate. We just cut the list roughly in half down to 96 properties by looking at only buildings with a minimum value of $20,000. So we just saved you half the research time of having to look at those other properties. And now you can, let's go back to satellite. We can see rooftops, street views. And I'll take you to an individual property page here. This is a Bradley County, Tennessee occupied home. The total value is $233,000. You can see a street view here. If you'd like, you could do a panorama view and take a look using the wonders of Google and look around the street, around the neighborhood, even drive down the street. And what we see next is this purchase option here. If you've used Parcel Fair before, this is where you would see the option to buy over the counter or at auction or from a reseller or from a land bank. The only way we know to buy this property right now, the tax deed, is going to be at the upcoming Bradley tax sale. Now remember in our discussion here, we talked about all those many places that you can find auctions. Well, now you can see exactly where this auction is and when. It's the Bradley County Courthouse in person, March 3rd at 10 a.m. And we even go ahead and show you the registration link here. Take you straight to the source where you could register and see more about the tax sale. There's another informational PDF here. It looks like an actual notice that was posted and signed. So again, taking you to the sources that matter, even the auction list. That actually opened a spreadsheet. So that's taking you to the source where you can find these things. Let's see. And here's the spreadsheet. It's on the other monitor. But this is the list that we would look at to figure out what's in the auction. So that's one of your sources to look at. And you can see the taxes due, that's $1,704. That should be where the starting bid is for this property at the auction. Okay, so we looked at a lot there for this one property. So let's take a look at one more thing before we move on to another county. The research links on the right are, once you get used to using these, they're really your friend, because For example, we can go look at the actual property assessment with the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury and see for this very property what the assessments are, from the basement to the floor plan, the sketch, history of improvements and sales. So I didn't have to go search for that on the website. It just linked directly to it. And same story for this GIS map. It's going to take us straight to the Tennessee Property GIS system. You can see the exact same house right here with those data sources included. So again, Parcel Fair connected us to all those things very quickly, just with one quick search. So let's jump to another county. This is Shelby, Tennessee. This is the Memphis area. If you've seen our other videos, and you've probably seen the Shelby Land Bank is one of the few ways to buy tax delinquent properties in Tennessee outside of an auction. So what you're looking at on this map of Memphis is a mixture. You have tax auction, tax deed properties in yellow, like these, and you see other ones highlighted in blue. So those blue ones, those are what are in the land bank. They basically cleared a tax sale a long time ago, and now the city is selling them directly. Again, there's another video for that, so I won't tell you too much about it. But I'm looking at 2,700 properties. I think I really want to just look at the auction properties, because maybe I'm just wanting to buy from auction only. So let's open up those search filters, and we have Tennessee and Shelby County. And we've already looked at a few of these, but let's take a look at inventory type. So if we wanted to see just over-the-counter properties, we could do that, but we actually want to see just our properties in the upcoming auction. So let's click on that. So we go from 2,764 properties, and now we're down to 1,037. So we've already limited the list somewhat. And you can see there's still plenty to choose from here. We have a little preview bar on the side. You can get an idea of what the properties look like. And let's go do our trick again, where we do buildings and improvements. This time we'll do minimum $30,000. So now we've cut it in half again, down to 482 properties. So you can see the time savings here. Like if I am looking across the map, I can really see what's left that meet my criteria. Let's take a look at one more county. I've shown you two counties now that held auctions either in person or on Civic Source. Actually, before we move on, I'm going to show you one of these Shelby tax sales. We show you that the auction is online at Civic Source, and we can take you to the Shelby County page that will for the registration and other information about the auction, useful stuff that's going to help you out so that you're not left hanging when it's time to try to get in that auction. So sorry for the backtrack there, but let's go ahead and move on to another county. This is the last county I'm going to show you. It's Washington County. It's around an area called Johnson City, Tennessee. I'm going to do a trick here and turn on the county borders. You see this, if I do that, now we can see the outline of this gray area. Let me jump over to, you can really see it if I turn off the satellite. So we're talking about this county right here. We can see 160 parcels, so it's smaller auction, and they're scattered, so it's still viewable on the map. But let's take a look at one of the properties in here in particular. So we have a tax deed auction, and you're probably used to this by now. We've got information about the valuation here, $124,000 valuation. It's an occupied property in an opportunity zone. And satellite views, we have the same assessment link here. But our auction information is going to be different. This auction is one of the ones hosted on govies.com. So we can show you the taxes due and when it is. But in this case, we're going to turn you over to GovEase, and, well, you have to log in there. But we're going to hand you over to GovEase because that's who really handles these auctions. And this is who you register with, bid with, and end up ultimately paying. So we just link you over to them because that's ultimately where the auction is happening. So there's all those links to show you how to get to govies.com. So we've looked at individual counties, an in-person auction, a civic source auction, and a Govies auction. The last thing I want to do is let's take a look at the whole state. So let's look at Tennessee, all available properties in all counties. And I can't stress this enough. This is a moving target. This changes daily, literally daily. But let's turn on the map, and let's turn on the counties again on this map. So we're looking at the whole state. This could be kind of a daunting thing to look at, but I can see this county has properties in it, and this one. What if I want to search across all the auctions and really look for like a needle in a haystack scenario, like the property that I want? It's going to have a building. It's going to be worth at least $100,000. We'll look at just auctions, so limit out the anything over the counter. And let's say I want a minimum of 2 acres. I don't want anything under 2 acres. And again, we're going to search across all the counties, and we just limited this down to 49 properties. Now, we are viewing 49 properties on this map that's hard to spot, so my next trick is to really analyze those properties. I'm going to click on parcel results on the right side, and then view these in a grid. Now remember, I could download them into a spreadsheet if I wanted to, but in this case, we're just going to view them on the website in the browser. So that just executed the exact same auction, search on the auctions, and shows us those 49 parcels. And what's cool now is I can actually see all these properties. 49 is not too many out of 3,500. I don't have to research all those other ones now. And I'm going to click on the total value column, and now the most expensive one is at the top of my list. And I can, if I wanted to do it that way, maybe I want to look at acres. I can sort that by the smallest or by the biggest. So we have 102 acres right here, followed by 78 and so forth. So whatever your strategy is, we've tried to give you tools where you can essentially rule out properties that don't fit your target strategy, and then really dig in and find out more about the ones that do. And looking across county boundaries, you don't have to visit every county's auction site. You can search the whole state at once. So I hope this has been useful for you. Again, Tennessee, without an established tax auction season, this is going to be a moving target every time you come to our website. There will be auctions year-round. Some counties are going to be on there many times per year. But anytime you check in, I think we've given you a great way to quickly look at all the auctions across the state and identify if there's anything of interest to you and save you hours of time in the process. So please check out Parcel Fair if you haven't already. We have a 7-day free trial, and we'd love to talk with you. So drop us a note in the comments or our contact form on the website, and we'll be in touch. Thanks.